But thank you. This is Akron. This is Hills. We're the Flanders of Ohio. This is Dirty River Bicycle Works. We're doing this shit. We're doing it.
So it was a big weekend here at Fitzwater Photography. On Friday, I did a photography hangout, like an open house reception. That was a mix of bike friends and camera friends. And then on Saturday, we had a meetup ride at the studio starting at 2, so you could show up from 2 to 3, and then we rolled out to Dirty River Bicycle Works so people could check out the shop, and also if we could pick up anyone else who wanted to meet up over there instead. I think we had about 30 people turn out, which is not bad at all for a day that had rain in the forecast and was pretty chilly. And I think it was a pretty even mix between people who came in from at least a little bit out of town and local friends. We had a good crew from Pittsburgh, we had people from Toledo, Grand Rapids, Michigan, which I believe was the farthest, and then down south in Amish country, a few people from up in the Cleveland area and its suburbs as well. It's always so great to be able to put the faces to the screen names. You know, there's people that we've talked online for a long time but never actually met. So that's one thing I love about the channel meetup rides. I love it even more when other two people who have talked through the Discord or YouTube comments get to meet each other for the first time. Just makes the whole thing very rewarding and a lot of fun to do. As you can see with the route, we decided to make it a mix of bike trail and then add a little of the industrial gravel. You know, I figure if you watch my channel, you're going to want to ride a little bit of the spicy stuff or the goofy stuff we ride. At the same time, though, this ride was a no-drop ride, a wait-up ride. We were keeping it together as a group. I didn't send out a route or anything. We wanted to keep it flexible depending on who showed up. It was really nice because Brad and Ben both took turns kind of leading for me, which made it so I could hang out a little more, take pictures, make my videos, and try to talk to everybody. I felt bad last year because I didn't feel like there was a couple people I really got around to say what's up to. And this year, even though we had a good group, I felt like we all got to kind of meet up and hang out and talk at least a bit. So this is the third year in a row where I've paired up my meetup ride with Dirty River Bicycle Works Otis-Roubaix ride. So that's a ride that takes place on Sunday at 10 a.m. and it's a hill climb challenge. We'll talk about that a little later in the video and I'll show that footage. But I like that idea because it gives people more of a reason if they do want to travel. If you want to come from somewhere, like I mentioned, then you could get an Airbnb or a hotel and have a little more going on than, just one or the other. Though there were people who came just for the channel meetup, and then there was a whole bigger group of people for the Otis-Roubaix. Like last year around this turn, everyone seemed willing to go a little farther and hit a little bit more of the off-road stuff, so that's what we did. Brad and Ben, again, taking care of things for me on that. The destination on this night was MadCap Brewing out on the edge of Kent. One of the reasons I like to take the meetup ride there is because you order your beers from the bar and there's a separate window for food. So when you have an unknown amount of people showing up, it's kind of a good way to go. You don't have to worry about reserving something or worrying about dealing with table service with a bunch of people. So that's why I selected it. Obviously, Missing Falls in Akron is a great place like that as well, but that's where we would be having the after party for the Otis-Roubaix. So I kind of wanted to be able to mix it up a little bit for anyone who was coming in from out of town. These are some of those kind of gray area trails. They're unmarked. There's no signage about them at all. But we figured it'd be okay to come back here and stay on the upper section. It had been raining all morning. We figured if we went down by the river, it would be a little bit muddy, but these turned out to be totally fine. This route was real meandering to get to Kent because from downtown Akron you could get to Kent in about 8 miles, but we worked our way over to the Summit County Bike and Hike. This is a trail I like to show people who aren't from around here because for a bike path it's pretty interesting. It's curvy and up and down, not just your straight flat rail trail. And then we came and cut through this gravel place. This is where they make all the gravel for gravel riding, all the different kinds. You know, you got the big stuff, the little stuff, the Michigan sandy stuff. This is where it all comes from. So what would a Fitzwater photography ride be without a little bit of light trespassing?
Yeah.
It's always so fun to show up somewhere with the big group and see everyone's bikes out there. It's just something that I think is really cool. We kept the route home in the dark pretty simple, just working our way to the Freedom Trail, which is kind of straight and flat and goes right back into Akron. Dropped off the people who were parked or staying in that area, and then rode back to the studio through the Cuyahoga Valley. And then after the party is the after party. So in the morning, it was back downtown to Dirty River Bicycle Works for the Otis-Roubaix. As you could see, an amazing turnout here for the ride. There were 2 rides this year. There's the 40 mile, which had 4,000 feet of climbing, and the 20 mile, which had 2,000 feet of climbing, and kind of did the back half of the 40 mile loop.
Yeah, you'll get more fast on this route.
So this route zigzags all around the city. You definitely need navigation or you need to be following somebody if you want to do it, because we wind our way and Z around and switch back all the steepest hills in the city and the surrounding area. One interesting thing about a route like this in Akron is that you don't ever get a run into any hills. There's no super long climbs here. Everything is short, steep, and punchy, but you basically turn a corner and start climbing, so it's like everything is coming from zero. And then the reverse goes with the downhills. You never really get a run out any of the downhills and keep that momentum as you're coming to stop signs or traffic lights or, again, right angle turns and all that. So it's one of the things that makes it sap your legs a little more than maybe a ride that was 40 miles and 4,000 feet of climbing, but with long, gradual climbs. I was riding my drop bar gravel bike, my Raleigh Tamland 2, I think for the first time all year. It's just with the weather we've had, I haven't ridden that bike at all. It really did feel fast to be on something like this after always riding my sweet bar bike on the 55s and my winter bike with the studded tires. So I was riding pretty quick at first and moving through some groups or moving back through some groups and was around a lot of people in the early part of the ride. Coming into this neighborhood loop here, got to see all the people out in front, the people who are really riding fast. So it was kind of cool to catch them. I would actually see them a little bit later because I would somehow miss a turn that must have cut off, I think, 2 miles. So you'll see I'm riding on the towpath later, and all of a sudden everyone comes flying by me. My buddy Woody comes up and I'm like, "Where'd you come from?" And he said, "The route." And I said, "Well, I thought I was on the route." But oh well, that's how it goes. It's not really a race. It's all do it at your own pace. Some people even, broke off at 26 miles or 30 miles. It's a cool thing. You're kind of looping all around Akron. So if you do want to bail, you could usually jump on the towpath or a road and just get back to the finish without too much trouble. So here I am getting passed by everybody. Of course, my friend Ames has to yell out, Slow rider on the right, slow rider on the right. There's my buddies Aaron and Ben passing me back. Same thing. How did you get up here? It's like, well, I definitely missed something. I made a couple other mistakes on the route. So I think for actually Otis-Roubaix, I ended up with 39 miles and about 4,000 feet of climbing, where I think it should have been closer to 42 and a little over 4,000. But I rode from home, so my whole ride for the day was still 41 miles. So good enough, right? I spent a number of miles in no man's land, kind of caught between with that fast group passing and where I had ended up. Then I did run into my buddy Andy, who came out to ride just part of the route, and so me and him got to ride together for a while too, which was cool. We haven't ridden bikes together for a little bit. Here we are working our way to a couple of the steep climbs. This one is Maple. I think this might be the hardest climb because it starts out gradual, then it really pitches up steep. The next one is kind of the most famous climb in Akron. It's called Cadillac Hill. The gradients, I don't know, I think they're up over 20%. The thing with that one is it's very steep at the bottom and the cobbles are really rough. My thing is I could totally ride it. It's always about balance, though. I was able to get up at this day, too.
Hello,
There's my
Dave.
buddy Dave taking photos with my cameras. But, yeah, you could see how the cobbles get rough here, and it's just all about, with the drop bar bike for me, where I position myself. Because if I lean too far forward, I'll skid in the back a little bit or spin out. And if I lean too far back, I'll pop up my front tire. But, yeah, I was happy that I did make it up this day on the drop bar bike. We had ridden this cut back here, an old abandoned road, just about a week ago, and it was fine. But now somebody had gone back there and dumped a couple big piles of furniture and trash and carpet, so it was a little more difficult to get through. I can only imagine if you're from out of town what you're like thinking about this. Next, we are on our way over to the Kenmore Summit Lake area, which I know is going to have a number of big hills. Being here, I almost considered bailing on it. Then I'm like, nah, you've come this far. I was tired from the whole weekend, you know, partied a little bit with everybody on Friday and Saturday and all that. But I was like, nope, you got to keep going. Let's go get it done. So these are the alleys through West Akron, kind of on the way over there. There's the lanky cyclist, who also said there should be an award for anyone who just does the route without messing it up at all, which is, you know, true. It's just a lot of twists and turns, so. I rode with my friend Annie a lot over in Kenmore and Summit Lake, but I didn't film a whole bunch of it or the big long climb. The last climb of the day is Clearview, long tough climb. I think I was just pretty spent. I also messed up and turned on my GoPro when I thought I had turned it off. I think at least 2 or 3 times in this section, so I knew I was running out of steam. I was also getting very, very hungry. All I could do is picture eating a sandwich over at Missing Falls Brewing. Huge thanks to everyone who came out this weekend. It was absolutely awesome. We are going to plan some more channel meetups. We're considering one here again in the fall, but also some other cities like we've done before, Pittsburgh, Columbus, and all that. All that information is always in the Discord link below. It's just the best way to be able to communicate. Also, Dave took a bunch of photos during the Otis-Roubaix. I took a bunch of photos during the meetup, so I will end up linking those in the Discord as well when I get to them so people can check those out. During the ride, my back and leg didn't really hurt from my sciatic nerve pain, but once I sat down at Missing Falls, it really did. So that's why I kind of posted up in a chair. So I don't know, I just did a lot of waving to people as they were leaving because I really just could not get up at that point. So yeah, just a little bit of a rough afternoon. Anyways, such a great time. If you want to support the channel, check out our little shop below or give this video a like because that does help us too. I will see you in the next one.